Of note, robotic cane with 3D camera to facilitate indoor navigation. A recent study co-funded by the National Institutes of Health's National Eye Institute, NEI, and the National Institute of Biomedical Imaging and Bioengineering, NIBIB, has resulted in the development of a robotic cane equipped with a color 3D camera, an inertial measurement sensor, and its own onboard computer. News about the technology was announced in a release prepared and distributed by NEI on September 8. Details of the updated design were published in the Chinese IEE/CAA Journal of Ochtimotiko Sinika. The device could offer blind and visually impaired users a way to more safely and effectively navigate indoors. When paired with a building's architectural drawing, the cane can accurately guide a user to a desired location with sensory and auditory cues, in the process helping the user avoid obstacles like boxes, cords, or cables, furniture, and overhangs. Blinded veterans who use GPS devices outdoors are aware of the applications that can provide navigation assistance with potential obstacles such as crosswalks. Until now, however, large spaces inside buildings have been a major challenge. Incorporating building floor plans helped until long distances resulted in the buildup of inaccuracies in the user's location. To help correct this issue, researchers added a color depth camera to the system. Using infrared light, much like a mobile phone's front-facing camera, the system can determine the distance between the cane and other physical objects, including the floor, features like doorways and walls, and furniture. Using this information, along with data from an inertial sensor, the cane's onboard computer can map the user's precise location to the existing architectural drawing or floor plan, while also alerting the user to obstacles in their path. While not yet market-ready due to its larger than normal size and heavier than usual weight, look forward to the introduction of a more modern white cane in the not-too-distant future. Max Cleland was true BVA friend and advocate. One of BVA's prized archive photos, now hanging in a hallway at the national headquarters, accompanies this of note entry. The image reveals two gentlemen formally dressed in sports coats and ties, one standing on the left and the other seated in a wheelchair. The man standing is grasping with his right hand the left hand of the man in the wheelchair. The eyes of the standing gentleman, who is displaying little emotion, indicate that he is blind. The man in the wheelchair, however, is smiling broadly. Worthy of note also and revealing of the time period are the wide ties and the light-colored plaid jacket of the blind gentleman. A portion of a U.S. flag is visible to the right of the two. In the background, the lower half of the Veterans Administration logo is seen. The full image of that logo is seen in background wallpaper filled with tiny renditions of it. The caption reads, "Standing at left, BVA National President Ron Miller with Max Cleland in November 1978. The brief blurb begins. Disabled Vietnam War veteran Joseph Maxwell Max Cleland, a former VA administrator and one-term U.S. Senator from Georgia during 1997 through 2003, died at his home in Atlanta from congestive heart failure on November 9. He was 79. Cleland also served as Georgia Secretary of State from 1983 until 1996 and as a Georgia State Senator from 1971 to 1975. Cleland was an Army captain in Vietnam on April 3, 1968, when he lost both legs and an arm in a grenade explosion near Khe Sanh. Before Vietnam, Cleland had been an accomplished college swimmer and basketball player, standing at 6'2" and beginning to develop an interest in politics, which he successfully pursued at age 28, just 3 years after his injuries. Cleland had already earned a bachelor's degree from Stetson University and master's degree from Emory University before entering the Army as a communications officer and later qualifying as a paratrooper. He volunteered for duty in Vietnam. Max Cleland was one of the most remarkable persons I have ever met in my life. Former Georgia Governor Roy Barnes is quoted following his passing. "I will miss his laughter and good cheer, his optimism in the face of tragedy, and his courage to persevere." Some 12 years before VA became a department and the top position a secretary, Cleland was nominated at age 34 as the Administrator of Veterans Affairs by President Jimmy Carter. He was the youngest person and first Vietnam veteran to be nominated for the post. He won quick and unanimous approval by the Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs and was confirmed by the full Senate minutes later. As the VA administrator during Dr. Ronald L. Miller's terms as BVA national president and later as a member of the Senate VA committee, Cleland was a strong advocate for both BVA's legislative priorities and VA services for blinded veterans, hosting BVA's legislative committee in meetings on Capitol Hill and co-sponsoring legislation. Following an unsuccessful run for a second term in the Senate, Cleland was appointed Secretary of the American Battle Monuments Commission by President Barack Obama, where he served for 8 years throughout Obama's 2 terms as president. He retired permanently in early 2017. VA releases new strategy to secure veteran information. A newly published cybersecurity strategy aimed at protecting against exposure of veterans' personal information or the corruption of critical data was released by VA on November 4. The strategy outlines 5 goals focused on maintaining a robust and resilient technology environment that advances VA's mission, including securing and protecting VA and veteran information, protecting information systems and assets, leveraging innovation to strengthen cybersecurity, enhancing cybersecurity through partnerships and information sharing, empowering the VA mission through cybersecurity risk management. As we continue to rapidly advance technology across VA, this strategy provides an agile framework to address the challenges of today and adapt to the technologies and threats of tomorrow, said Secretary McDonough. This comprehensive approach practices accountability and transparency while remaining hyper-vigilant of cyber threats, charting a course for success at the individual and enterprise levels. Scholar says disability drives innovation for all. Catherine Kudlick, director of the Longmore Institute on Disability at San Francisco State University, has concluded that technologies developed by or for people with disabilities have inevitably improved the quality of life for everyone and continue to do so. In an October 14 New York Times On Tech report by Shira Ovid, Dr. Kudlick begins with the example of audiobooks first developed primarily for the blind, but which found their way to popularity after World War II in the form of cassette tapes, compact discs, and now smartphone apps that make listening to books more convenient than reading them. Ovid references Robert Irwin, former executive director of the American Foundation for the Blind, for spearheading a program in the 1930s to develop gramophone records of narrators reading books out loud. Back then, only 10 to 20% of Americans who were blind, including blinded veterans from World War I, could read Braille. The U.S. government helped fund record players for the blind and low vision, and talking books on records were soon distributed through libraries. Hearing aids have a similar evolution, having been one of the earliest commercial proving grounds for the computer chips that are now in everything from fighter jets to an average refrigerator. Likewise, curb cuts in sidewalks were developed for people who use wheelchairs, but proved useful for many other people. This history, Ovid says, flips the script on how the average person imagines product design. While smartphones were a technology designed for the general population, and then, by adaptation or accident, also became useful for people with disabilities. Other technologies that are widely used today exist because of people with disabilities. Silicon Valley inventor and futurist Ray Kurzweil developed multiple technologies, including optical character recognition, OCR, used in the K-NFB readers publicized at BVA national conventions a decade ago, and which became forerunners to Siri. Screen readers are also descendants of Kurzweil's design that scan digital text and speak it aloud or convert it into Braille, a technology that has made both talking books and audiobooks a little less popular among the blind and visually impaired. Ovid concludes that it feels only appropriate that one technology initially designed for blind people has been at least partially crowded out by another that has even greater use, productivity, and enjoyment for them. COLA increase is the largest in decades. The annual cost of living adjustment, COLA, will increase by 5.9% on January 1, the largest increase since 1983, and an adjustment that has averaged approximately 1.5% for the last 10 years. The increase means that many retired and disabled veterans will receive a bump in pay between $10 and $90 per month. Specifically, disabled veterans will see their checks raised by an average of $8.50 per month for each 10% of disability. VA is required by law to alter disability payment rates by that amount. The adjustment is a response to an expected rise in the rate of inflation, which is determined by the Consumer Price Index, published by the Department of Labor to compare the costs of certain goods and services today with the same goods and services of previous years. Proposed settlement reached in iBob's class action lawsuit. Parties to a lawsuit involving eyewear online store iBob's, LLC, have reached a settlement, a notice dated and sent to BVA on October 28, revealed. Murphy v. iBob's, LLC, number 1:21-CV lowercase -00017, alleged that iBob's violated the American Disabilities Act by failing to take the necessary steps to ensure that its online store did not discriminate against blind or visually impaired customers who use screen reader auxiliary aids to access digital content. Under the settlement, iBob's LLC agreed to take additional steps to make its website and any new website or mobile application it develops or acquires accessible to screen reader users. For a more complete summary of the terms of the proposed settlement, visit https://www.ibobsadasettlement.com.